Charles Feldman. I'm Mike Simpson. You're listening to In Depth from KNX News 97.1 FM.
We are hearing from regular people. We have been hearing from regular people in Ukraine who have been sharing their experiences during the war. Before it all started, Christina and Eugene and their famous rescue dog, Chapati, were traveling the world, documenting their experiences. Chapati, they say, is the world's most traveled dog, visiting 40 countries already and becoming a star on Instagram. But since the war started, the three had to leave Kiev to a safer place in the country and put their lives on hold. Christina and Eugene are with us now. The dog is not. Christina and Eugene, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us. Good afternoon.
Hi there.
Hello. So tell us a little bit about, I presume that you're somewhere in western Ukraine now because it's safer there, but maybe not. Tell us a little bit about Chapati and what that story is all about.
So we are in Kropivnitsky right now, right in the middle of Ukraine. It's safer here, so that's why we flew to this place. About Chapati, she's a rescued dog from India. 5 years ago, we went for a huge trip, like 9 months trip with a one-way ticket to India. And we found her right on the second day, being on that huge trip. And we found her as a dying puppy, and we couldn't stand by. We couldn't just walk past her, and we wanted to help. That's why we took her and started to nurse her back to life. And shortly we understood that it's our dog, and we are doomed to be together. We took her and started our travels, and it all happened step by step, country by country. And then we made an Instagram account, named her Traveling Chapati, and that was our destiny, to travel together and to share the stories.
That is so sweet. It's such a great story. And 40 countries, is that right? That's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's the record holder of India and Ukraine and the most traveled dog.
Okay, so now, of course, your traveling has come to a rather abrupt end, I take it, at least for the time being. So tell us what's happening to all of your lives now that the war is ongoing.
As you said, our life stopped. Like, we don't have any nowadays, we don't have any future. We don't even have a past. We just, everything broke, and we're just living day by day, like doing nothing, because we're doing some stuff, but everything is basically just trying to survive, reading news, trying to figure out what's gonna happen.
Volunteering, but we are doing nothing for our future, because as for now, our lives are stolen. They are stolen from us.
How long did it take you to get out of Kiev to where you're going, and what is the general plan? I mean, everything is on hold, as you say, but what is that like to kind of not even know what your next steps are, rather than just getting someplace and then trying to be as safe as possible, because that place is at least a little bit safer than where you're from?
Yeah, we managed to leave Kiev right on the first day after the shelling and all these bombings we had early in the morning. So we just took our belongings, whatever we can pack in 1 hour, and we left. And after that, everything is just trying to help somehow all our troops and all volunteers who are actually involved very well in everything that's going to happen. It's happening here. And what we want to do is just to make sure we do everything possible to have this war over. And the only possibility for Ukraine to stop this war is to win this war, because Putin is a guy like a bully who won't stop by himself. All the world needs to be united and staying strong to overcome his crazy ideas.
As you know, millions of Ukrainians have left the country. Why have you both elected to stay?
Unfortunately, we didn't have any options, because martial law was applied, and it restricts men who are aged between 18 years to 60 years old. These men cannot leave Ukraine. And as Eugene is between this age, he cannot leave Ukraine. So only I and Chapati can do that. But we are not going to live without him because we are a family. We're always
And it's
together.
also important to be here, to involve, to help somehow. Because when men flew out of country, it's not gonna give any extra morale to the troops. And our army needs to understand that there are people behind them. It's very important for the morale of the army.
And is that inspiring to see for you guys too? And when you do volunteer and you notice everybody else is helping out, and the streak continues. Every person that we've talked to is doing something to try and help. Every interview we've had, every person who's talked to us. When you see everybody trying so hard, what goes through your mind?
We always knew that Ukrainian people will never surrender. We will fight back. We will fight for our freedom, for our country. Because our nation is a nation of brave people who can unite, especially in hard times, during hard times. And yes, we see everybody is involved, and everyone do whatever he can during these hard times. And it's a great story of people who are fighting to get their lives and their freedom back.
We began our discussion talking about your famous dog, Chapati. I'm wondering, animals sometimes can play a role, too, in things like wars. Is Chapati playing a role?
Of course she does. I mean, her main role is having all these people who are following her. We're telling the story because we have enormous amount of followers from India, and as you may know, India is has such kind of a tricky position in this war because they somehow depends on Russia military. They buy some weaponry from Russia, and that's why they're not condemning what's happening here. They are trying to be neutral, and this is absolutely in a proper position for any country in the civil world. That's why we are talking to our Indian subscribers. We are telling the stories. We are trying to involve them and to somehow tell the politicians of India about what's happening here. So because their media, they don't cover the situation that much.
Yeah, so at least we use Chapati's social media in order to translate to people the real situation which happens here, because we understand that in India they don't have that much news which are showing the real situation.
I was on the page going through the comments, and there were people who were so worried about you guys because you hadn't posted in a couple of days. And they're saying, it's been 4 days. Any updates? What's going on with you? What's that like to have that kind of support coming in, or people worried about you from all over the world?
It's amazingly supportive, but, still when a regular person faces war, it's a real nightmare, and your emotions are like a roller coaster. You can feel dozens of different emotions during even 1 hour. And there are also different stages of how you perceive the situation. And, at times you can be more inspired and believing that everything is going to be good someday. But unfortunately, at times, you can be really depressed and you can feel helpless. So we had a few of this type of days when we could do nothing,
Yeah. Christina, Eugene, our best to you, and our best to Chapati, the Instagram dog. And thanks so much for talking to us and sharing what you're doing there. And do stay safe.
For more in-depth, listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. From KNX News 97.1 FM.